What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally got the long-awaited release of Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, the final season. Something that us as Star Wars fans have been clamoring for years now. I remember being a little kid watching The Clone Wars, and being so excited that a character like Darth Maul was finally being reintroduced into the Star Wars canon. The Clone Wars for many of us also was the first time that we had a strong connection with the actual clone troopers, and began perceiving them more as simply cannon fodder for the Jedi story. This is really where Clone Wars has shown brightly in the past, and today's first to premiere episode of Season 7 is no exception to this rule. The first episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars is again about 30 minutes long, which is normal, and is entitled The Bad Batch. Before we get into my overall thoughts on the episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, I do want to say that there will be major spoilers in this video, for the episode that is, and I implore you to go watch The Bad Batch before you guys return and see my breakdown and analysis, and my overall thoughts on the first episode of Season 7. If you want to hear my spoiler-free thoughts, here they are. I think that this is an appropriate return to the Clone Wars Season 7. We have to remember that it's not the grand introduction of brand new characters like The Mandalorian was. It's very much a continuation of the story. I think this is an absolutely great return to the story and a great little setup for this current arc. If you guys remember, the Clone Wars is set up to be various stories told within this one massive war, and these first 3 episodes will follow the Bad Batch. Later on, moving to more iconic characters like Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and way more. Overall though, I'm very pleased with this episode. It doesn't do anything massive for the history and lore of Star Wars, but that's okay. It's the beginning of a very compelling story. The characters are all interesting, and I love the direction that they took the characters and their relationships with others. That's basically my little spoiler-free thoughts on the episode, so now let's get into the spoilers. When the Bad Batch are introduced, they're very different from irregular clone troopers, what the Bad Batch calls regs. It's established that these Bad Batch clone troopers have what is referred to as desirable genetic mutations. We see one of the clones, Wrecker, is not only slightly stronger than a normal clone, but substantially, being able to flip over a fallen down gunship. You also have other members of the group, Crosshairs, Hunter, Tech, and then of course Wrecker, who I just mentioned. When I first heard about the concept of the Bad Batch, I thought that they would just be slightly stronger, slightly more intelligent clone troopers. However, it's clear here that they're now more akin to the mutants of the X-Men universe. They actually do have things that are uncommon. They're not just a little bit faster, smarter, and stronger. They're significantly so. Each of them, though, has their own special unique ability. Tech, for example, is extremely intelligent, and then Hunter, their leader, has advanced reflexes. They explain that Hunter can actually feel the electromagnetic frequencies from anywhere on a planet, which is why of course they call him Hunter. His reflexes and senses are extremely heightened. Now jumping into the overall plot of the episode, the Bad Batch is called in because the Separatists are beginning to extremely accurately predict the clone troopers' attacks, specifically the attacks of Captain Rex. Captain Rex eventually develops the hunch that this is because Echo is alive, a clone trooper that we all previously believed was killed during the Citadel arc, and a clone trooper that personally I thought definitely did die in the Clone Wars Citadel arc. One of the original clone troopers that we encountered all the way back in Season 1 of the Clone Wars. I love that Rex has a very special connection with Echo, and I'm glad that they decided to bring somebody back for Season 7. Characters like Heavy, Echo, and Fives that we all formed a deep relationship with in Season 1. And at the end of the episode, it is in fact confirmed that the Separatists managed to capture Echo, and are using him to predict the battle plans of the other clone troopers, again specifically Captain Rex. This episode was really good, but again, it's not a ton to sink your teeth into just off the bat. It's very much a reintroduction to the series, and very much feels like a continuation of Season 6. The Bad Batch is an interesting concept to go off of though, and I love that the Bad Batch themselves aren't really used to dealing with regular clone troopers. They even look substantially different than a normal clone trooper thanks to their genetic mutations, with the regular clones even being shocked that they're considered clones in the first place. You do see though at the same time why the Bad Batch is sent off on missions on their own. They're dangerous to all of those that surround them. They're extremely proficient fighters and killers, and they seem to lack a lot of the empathy that a normal clone trooper would have. Beyond the question of where is Echo and why is he giving up all of these Republic secrets though, I want to know how the Bad Batch reacted to Order 66, and I hope that we get to see their reaction to it, and if they actually choose to follow it out. If they decide not to enact Order 66, 1966, I would love to see a comic book that follows the Bad Batch post Rise of the Empire, and see where their allegiances choose to lie. Anyway though, my friends, I would love to hear your thoughts on the episode. Overall, again, I'm satisfied, but it's very much an introduction, and there's not a whole lot to sink your teeth into just yet. The Clone Wars Season 7 will be releasing all the way into May, with one episode releasing every week, so stay tuned on the channel for everything Clone Wars Season 7. I really hope Season 7 continues with the theme of building on characters that aren't really highlighted in the film, which clearly by this first episode they will. It's also known that Anakin Skywalker will be a character that will be featured more prominently in the next 2 episodes, and the Clone Wars depiction of Anakin I've always found to be superior to the film's depiction. It's the Clone Wars where I truly felt a deep connection with the Jedi Chosen One, and understood his pain, more so than any of the movies, and moving beyond the emotions of the movies, and I hope that Season 7 continues with that. Again guys though, I want to hear your final thoughts on Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 1, The Bad Batch, and what do you hope to see moving forward? As always my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with everything Star Wars related. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.